Good day, viewers. So today I want to talk about pressure and how pressure has been my ally for a very long, for a long time, for a long duration of my life, but I never truly appreciated it until now. I I finished school a month today, not a month today, but a month. My result came out a month today. So, and I have been trying my best to get informed. I have been trying my best to keep giving it my all, to keep learning and keep pushing, and but it hasn't been easy at all. I I realized that the sudden removal of pressure from my life has made things have made things look quite difficult. Have made things difficult to have the lack of pressure in my life have made a lot of tasks difficult to accomplish. Before this time I could comfortably account before this time I could comfortably account for my hours. I could account what I was doing at 7 a.m. I could account for what I was doing at 8 a.m. I could account for what I was doing at 9 a.m. But since I graduated, it's been fuzzy. I'm still productive, but I'm now on. I I I could say I'm on a downward spiral in the sense that I was more productive immediately after my exams than now. I could feel this embrace of laziness around me and it pisses me off. It makes me mad. I'm really trying to fight that. I'm trying my best to fight it off. When I was in school, the idea that I was under pressure and I didn't have time to study any other thing other than my academic books, made me to be extremely conscious of my time. So if I had 4 hours to spare, that 4 hours I would channel it judiciously into learning languages, into improving my English, and I could saw improvements. I saw a lot of improvements. Now, fast track to now that I'm done with the university, and I'm pretty much doing nothing. Yeah, I still exercise. I I practice my English, but a lot of my hours are unaccounted for. I find I find that distractions are easier to creep into my schedule. I can easily drift out into. I can start using my phone and endlessly drift out into that sea of mediocrity, and by the time I recover myself, it will take me a while to get back into what I was doing. So pressure is indeed a privilege. Funny, it is funny because when I was learning French, I never faced this. I enjoyed learning French, and that is something I have noticed so far. There are two things that are happening. Is either there are two things that might be happening, but I feel are the case in my situation that are truly happening. Number one is because the number one is I'm not deriving as much joy from learning English as I used to when learning French, as I would when learning French. I don't derive the same joy. As a consequence, I can't spend the number of time. I can't spend hours. I can't dedicate hours into learning English without feeling bored. So unlike when I would learn French and I could dedicate up to 12 hours, 15 hours learning French and I wouldn't even feel a thing. And so that's one thing I notice. I'm not as happy learning English as I was learning French. It's not a big challenge anyway. I believe this is truly when we talk about discipline, because discipline is not about doing something you like and enjoying what you like and then you screaming at the top of your voice that you are disciplined. Discipline also entails situations like this, when you find yourself in these kind of situations and you are not really improving at a rate you wish you would, and then you just give up. I believe that's my case. Okay, I believe that is definitely my case, because I am improving. I know there is a difference. I know there is a marked difference between who I was last year and who I am this today, when it comes to, in respect to English language and in respect to how I speak. I know there is a difference, but I'm not seeing much improvement. I'm not seeing the improvement I'm seeing is not as the improvement I'm seeing is not, how do I put it? It's not to the degree I wanted or to the degree I want. So I feel it discourages me. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I'm just being honest. And a good part of it is also laziness, which is crazy because I shouldn't be lazy. I should be optimizing my time, but I'm really not optimizing that time. I'm to a good degree lazy at the moment. I'm not doing things. I'm not I'm no longer as punctual as I used to be. I would say I would when it comes to exercising and working out every day, I am extremely punctual. If I say I'm going to work out by 6:30, I find myself working out by 6:30. But when I come back, I notice that I'm not as punctual. So now I'm wondering, could it be because working out has always been a part of my schedule, even when I was in school? So it is more difficult to disrupt. Well, I could argue that the it is also the case that learning English has been was a part of my schedule, albeit to a lesser extent, but it was a part of my schedule. So that's a that's the juncture I find myself at, and that's the dilemma I'm in now, and I'm trying to dig myself out of this situation. I am definitely sure I will dig myself out of it, but it just feels fun. It feels fun telling you this and expressing this to you, if not for anything, so that you can at least realize that nobody is born strong. Nobody is born with the ultimate strength to overcome adversities, to overcome obstacles. There are always obstacles, and even the most disciplined people feel still encounter these obstacles. Even the most disciplined people still, at some point, could derail and spiral to a degree out of control. But then it is up to them to catch themselves and find the track to the track that leads to discipline and leads to their goal, which is what is happening to me. So I feel I should also document this so that you will know that, even though I don't know how many times I've said it on this channel, but even though I talk about being I don't know even if I've talked about it, but being disciplined and and being consistent. You there are still times when the internal turmoil spills out and derails you, or derails me in this case, from the goal. Okay, and it's not at all about giving up. There's nothing to give up on. We are not giving up. There's nothing there. It's just the demons that everybody fights. Okay, everybody admires it. One thing I told myself in life is, whatever I'm passing through, every damn person is passing through it, or has passed through it, or will pass through it. So I don't consider myself special. Okay, I don't consider myself unstoppable. I I consider myself average, because when I see myself in that spirit, in that realm of not being special, in that realm of just being average, in quotes, I'm able to take advantage of any opportunity. I know that nobody is coming to hand me anything, and it is left for me to reach out and take anything, and it makes me to it allows me the it allows me the oh, sorry, let me phrase this thing properly. It gives me the leeway to place the blame on myself when things don't go as I plan, knowing it gives me knowing that I am responsible for my situation. If that makes sense, I always want to be responsible for whatever that is happening to me. And if I start thinking myself along the line of being special, I might not be able to do that completely, right? Because I might think that by some special grace of some human somewhere, that I will be saved. But I don't like I don't want to, and I don't like to operate in that. I don't want to view the world from that paradigm, right? So that's that. As a result, as a consequence of what I'm passing through, I figured I need to get busy, more busy. And everything is making sense now. Everything is making sense. It has always made sense, but the more you encounter obstacles, the more life makes sense. And what does what clicked on my mind was the quote that if you want something done, you should give it to a busy person. Okay, it just crossed my mind, and it makes sense now. It has always made sense, but it makes more sense when the quote cuts the quote cuts part with what you experience, or what you are going through, or when the quote cuts part with your experience. So that's pretty much that. I want to learn about video editing. I want to learn about video editing. Okay, I noticed that my video has always been like this. It's always me talking and this background, and I figured, why not get busy and learn video editing? I don't even need to know the end. I don't have to know to have I don't want to have the end in mind. I just want to learn video editing at the moment. Because people will always tell you to do things. Probably some people will tell you to do things with the end in mind, right? So what's the purpose of this video editing? The purpose of this video editing is for me to engage in something that will help me with content creation, and also something that and something that will keep me busy, right? So the idea is definitely not to master video editing. If down the line mastery comes, fine. Otherwise, it's just to keep myself busy, and then with time, you people will start seeing the tweet, the little the with time you will start seeing the product of my endeavor, right? So that is what I want to do now. My my the way I want to tackle this laziness, that is this chasm of laziness that I have fallen into. The way I want to get out of it is to construct a ladder of purpose. So, and that purpose is video editing. So I'm going to learn about video editing. I spoke with a friend of mine, and he told me about a CapCut that they use most people use for most people use for what's it called, that most people use to edit videos in TikTok. So I'm going to learn it. So I don't know if I will upload a video next week. I might not. But I'm really going to get an exercise book now, and then I'm going to watch a lot of videos on YouTube. It might not even be CapCut at the end of the day, but I'm definitely learning video editing. I need to learn something. I need to keep myself busy, and I need to acquire to a degree that skill if I'm going to delve properly into this. So that's my objective now. And on the other hand, I'm still learning English. I'm making improvement, not as much as I would, but it's still the same thing I've been talking that I've been doing, although to a lesser, at a slower pace. I read, I write, I speak, I listen, I watch, I do all those things. I take note of words. I go through my thesaurus. I go through my my thesaurus to pick up the good words, and I forget those good words. But then I keep learning again, and then I forget again, and then I keep learning again, and then I keep forgetting again, and then frustration sets in. But I still don't bother. I bother, but what can I do? It's the frustration is here. The frustration is there. You don't. I still push in spite of the frustration. So, as a way to tackle my boredom, as a way to tackle the laziness that has crept in, I think I am learning video editing. I'm going to get an exercise book this night, and then I'll start learning cat cut. At the same time, I'm learning English. Okay, the idea that I have 24 hours, that I can use that 24 hours to channel solely into learning English is fun. But either because but it doesn't completely work like that. Okay, that 24 hours might not be as productive. It worked for me when I was smaller, when I was in my teens, that I was learning French, that I could that I could that I was learning French, and it was fun. I could spend a good 12 hours, 13 hours learning French, and I didn't feel it. One, because I was seeing the progress. I was progressing at a rate I loved, and then the drive was there. But it's no longer the case there. Either because I'm older, life changes. But that is not as consequential. It's not as consequential. The most important thing now is this is where I am. I have time, but that time is not as productive, and this is how I want to tackle it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn CapCut, and then whatever time I have left, I will divide. I don't know how to go about the time. I might spend my morning learning CapCut, then afternoon and evening learning English. But whatever time, I need something to keep busy, in hopes that I will be able to jumpstart back the into moving at the pace I would love in English. So this video is already long. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate, and do have a lovely day. Okay.